Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum, and welcome to the Iftar program here on Salam Media. My name is Faizel Patel. Inshallah, I will be in your company until about Iftar this evening. Now, let's just check the Islamic date. Today is the 21st of Ramadan, 1443, and the time is just 5 minutes past 4 o'clock on this Saturday afternoon. Once again, Jazakallah for joining me on this Iftar program. I'm going to take this opportunity to wish and welcome all our listeners and viewers on the Salam Media platforms. That's via audio streaming, via video streaming, on YouTube, on Facebook, and all the other many platforms as well. Now, you can interact with me by a number of mediums on social media. You can send me a chat on this particular live stream, where inshallah I will then read out some of your chats. If you've got any comments or if you want to wish anybody a Ramadan Mubarak, well, it's a bit late for that because we already almost through at Ramadan. But if you want to send any message, you can do that as well. You can also tweet me. I have access to my Twitter on at Faizel Patel 143. I'm also on Instagram at Faizel Patel 143, and I'm also on facebook.com/Faizel Patel. And you can share all the details with me if you want to send a message, if you want to send a shout out to somebody, and inshallah we can do that for you. It will be absolutely lovely to have an interactive conversation with you, the listener at home, and also with myself from my office here in Lenasia South. Last week I was broadcasting from my brother's house, and the week before that we were broadcasting from the Nizamiya Masjid in Madrid. So we already almost two-thirds done with Ramadan. Yesterday was the 21st night of Ramadan. Today is the 21st day. This evening will be the 22nd. And the sad part is that Ramadan is actually going at such a rapid pace. It's like you blink your eye and you close your eye or blink your eye, and already the month of Ramadan is already passing us by. And that is absolutely shocking. So, and very, very sad indeed, because time has no value anymore. So, as I mentioned, today is the 21st of Ramadan. Last night was one of the odd nights of the month of Ramadan. Tonight will be the 22nd night, and we are into the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan. All those that are sitting for itikaf would have probably already been, been gone into the masjid, and they're sitting and now searching for this night of power, Laylatul Qadr, which is more powerful than 1,000 months. So we all should make effort. There's a lot of benefits. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said the month of Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months. And if you know the surah, there's actually a surah in the Quran, Suratul Qadr, and I'm going to recite it for you. I hope I don't make any mistakes, but it goes as such. If you haven't got it, please check it in the Quran. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr wa ma adraka ma laylatul qadr. Laylatul qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. So basically, to sum it up, you have to search for the night of Laylatul Qadr, and Laylatul Qadr lasts from the latter part of the night until Fajr the next morning. So there are quite a few signs of Laylatul Qadr, and inshallah we will go through that signs a little later, and we will share some nasiha on Laylatul Qadr as well. Speaking about nasiha, I have nasiha from Mulana Ibrahim Bam today. He's currently in the blessed lands of Makkatul Mukarramah, where he is currently performing Umrah. I'm sure he moved from Medina to Mecca now. So absolutely wonderful time to be there. If you've seen videos and pictures of the Haram, it is absolutely full. I know I wanted to go, but Ramadan becomes a bit too difficult to go, especially if you've got children, in Makkatul Mukarramah, because the days are long and the fasting becomes difficult, especially for the children. Two of my kids are fasting and they get thirsty, and it becomes a bit taxing on them as well. But we should all make the niyyah to actually go to our blessed lands. It's open for everybody. I know thousands of South Africans that have already gone. Ibrahim Bam, the Secretary General of the Jamiatul Ulama South Africa, is currently there. A cousin of mine is there as well. For those that live in Indonesia will know Hawa Bibi Muhammad. She's also gone to the Blessed Lands, and many, many others as well. So, if they are in contact with you, please do ask them to remember the Ummah in our du'as, and inshallah, then we can. Reap the benefits of this beautiful du'as, inshallah. So these auspicious nights, very, very important. The 21st night, which was last night, the 23rd night, the 25th night, and a lot of people seem to think that Laylatul Qadr is on the 27th night. Now, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam haven't given that indication that it's specifically on the 27th night, but people naturally think it is that. There are certain signs that you can look forward to, which Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has given. The story, and I do stand corrected with regards to Laylatul Qadr, is, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was on his way to tell the Sahaba about Laylatul Qadr, and apparently there was, and I do stand corrected, please do correct me if I am wrong, there was an argument between, or a scuffle, not a scuffle, but an argument, let's use that word, between the Sahaba, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told them, rather spend your night searching for the night of Laylatul Qadr. So some of the nights, it will be some of the signs, it will be very serene night, there will be no noise, it won't be too cold, it won't be too hot. There were some people that even say the ocean tastes sweet, and many, many other signs as well. So, but the thing is, you shouldn't only confine our ibadah to the 27th night or the 25th night or the 23rd night. We should be making and reaping the benefits of this beautiful month for the entire month. It's going to be very, very sad. Now, there's one thing I wanted to share with you, and before I do that, so I did mention that we're going to have Nasiha from Maulana Ibrahim Bam, that's the secretary of the Jamiatul Ulama, so that's coming up in the show. That will be done at around, I think, just about 22. Maulana Bam spoke for about 4 minutes, so we're going to take the iftar time minus about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll play that. But I'll give my engineer the indication of what time that should be played. And at 5 o'clock, we're going to be speaking to a wonderful person. Her name is Yumna Patel Taya, and she's from Project O. And they've been involved in some wonderful projects during the blessed month of Ramadan, feeding schemes and Ramadan hampers. So we'll be speaking to her about that. Last week we spoke to Mulana last week. I can't remember his name now offhand, but we spoke to him last week, Mulana Kaka actually. We spoke to him about the Halim distribution, and that Sabri Chishti is doing. It's actually not Mulana Kaka, I do stand corrected, but we spoke to Mulana last week about the Halim distribution. And just to recap through that, they cook about 46 days. That's 46 days every Saturday. So while we speak here, they are cooking dates and getting ready for the Halim distribution tomorrow. And each day cost about 2,000 rand. And he clarified the misconceptions that sometimes surround the distribution of Halim. When I post, and I normally post about Sabri Chisti's Halim distribution on my Facebook pages and some of the other pages, sometimes you get some nasty comments, people saying that it's zakat money and you're not supposed to be eating zakat. And Molana actually cleared that out. It is not zakat money. It is purely donations from the community and sponsors from the community. So if you want to collect that Halim, I know last week Salam Media station manager Ponti Moletsani actually phoned me and asked me when do they distribute the Halim. Well, if you've forgotten, I hope Ponti actually got the Halim, because in my opinion, I think Sabri Chishti's Halim is one of the tastiest, and I've tasted quite a few, but it's among the best. So they normally distribute on a Sunday in Oak Avenue, where the Sabri Chishti Masjid is. You can go there and take your ghee buckets or whatever buckets you got, and collect the Halim. They even give you a naan and a lemon as well, and they're quite generous in their distribution. They give you quite a bit. So very, very tasty, and especially on cold days, there's nothing better than Halim. So as I mentioned in my tweets and on my social media platforms, it is my staple diet. I can eat Halim the whole week. So they do a couple of distributions. They do it in Oak Avenue at the Sabri Chisti Masjid. If it does rain, which I doubt it's going to rain, but we always welcome blessed rain from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it does rain, they normally have a drive-through. And this is the first time that I've actually seen a Halim drive-through. Have you ever heard of one? Maybe you can tweet me, you can send us a message on this private chat, and inshallah we will share it. So the drive-through basically, and my wife was explaining to me because she actually went to collect it because I was on air or was working. So basically, it's you go to the hall, and then you park and you wait in line, and there's somebody that actually fetches your bucket or your container, and then they go onto the preparation area where they then dish out in your particular bucket. Obviously, when you have to be close to the place, when you actually come there, they then hand you that bucket and your naan, and then you drive away. But it looks like we're not going to get any rain, so inshallah, maybe you can actually go collect some of the alim. They also do it here in Indonesia South. So if you are in Indonesia South, there's a corner house on the corner of, I think it's Sheffield or Wimbledon, one of those streets. They actually do distribution there as well. So I don't know about you. Do you actually like Alim? You can then tweet me on Faizel Patel 143. Please send me a message on this particular platform where we're broadcasting from, or you can also go on facebook.com/Faizel Patel. So before we go any further, let's check the iftar setting in times because it has now come significantly earlier. We know that winter is also setting in. So the times are getting earlier for iftar, and also the seri times are also ending a little later. Even Fajr is gone a little later as well. I think Fajr sets in now around 5:10 a.m. every morning. So let's look at those times. If you are in Johannesburg, today is the 23rd of April. It's the 21st of Ramadan. So the time for Maghrib this evening sets in at 5:48 p.m. So 5:48 p.m. today is the time for Maghrib in for the Johannesburg region. If you are in Durban, the time for Durban sets in at 5:32 this evening. So if you are in Durban, 5:32 this evening, and if you are in Cape Town, the time for iftar this evening sets in at 7:24 p.m. So not 7:24. I do apologize. 6:17 p.m. in Cape Town. That's the time for iftar in the Cape Town region. So we've just got about 8 days left before Eid al-Fitr. Please do remember to take out your fitra. We'll give you the amount a little later. And also during this month, a lot of people also take out or calculate their zakat. So I normally do that during the blessed month of Ramadan. I calculate it, well, I'm actually still going to calculate it, but I normally dispense it on the 27th day or the 27th night. And I got a few people that I actually give my zakat to. So not that there's any significance to giving out or dispensing a zakat on the 27th night. I just do it because I'm used to it and I've been doing it for, well, for the past few years, many years that I've been doing it as well. If you are going to take out your zakat during the month of Ramadan, please remember that the calculations can be quite tricky. So please ensure that you do consult a mufti, and if you have any questions, who specializes in this, zakat calculations, because sometimes you don't want to be at the point where you dispense the incorrect zakat amount because you got your calculations incorrect or you never did anything. So please do consult with a mufti and then ask them if you have any unsure. If you're unsure about any calculations, because it can be tricky and sometimes you don't know what to leave out, what not to leave out, and you don't want to obviously be in a difficult position as well. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you, dear listeners, I don't know if most of you or some of you have realized that this week on the 19th of April, which is the 17th of Ramadan, it's just this past week that passed away. Most of you, I don't know if you would have remembered, but one of the most significant battles in the history of Islam, that's the Battle of Badr, actually took place in the month of Ramadan. That's on the 17th of Ramadan. And I have written a story about it on the Citizen website. And these stories are actually getting a lot of momentum because the Citizens readers are quite diverse and they want to know a lot about the beautiful month of Ramadan, the blessed month of Ramadan. And actually, I had a very engaging conversation with somebody on a Friday with regards to how is it to fast and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to share a little bit about you, with you, about the Battle of Badr for those that don't know. And if you've been to Mecca and to Medina and the blessed lands of Saudi Arabia, then if you are in Medina, there's wonderful people that offer ziyarat to Badr. If you get a chance, please do go, because you never know when you're going to get an opportunity again. I actually went to Badr with Mulana Jina a few years back. He's based in Medina, and it's quite far. It's about an hour, hour and a half's drive to Badr, but he stops along the way. So book with him. It's not expensive. That time I paid around, I think, 100 or 150 Saudi riyals. I'm not sure how much it is. Probably gone up by now as well. So please do go there. And before we get on to the story of Badr, on the way, and this is something that I want to share with you, because it's very, very significant. And there's so many things, I would like to share with you, but sometimes time is not on our side. So when you go on to Badr, Mulana Jina, or if you go with somebody, tell him to stop at the place where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam stopped on his way to Badr. And this is where there is a well. It's called the Well of Roha. So that's the place, the Well of Roha. Now, for those that don't know what the place of Well or Roha is, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was going to Badr, he stopped at this well. It's called the Well of Roha. And the Sahaba Ikram, the well is actually there. If you go to my Facebook page and if you search my profile and you search for the Well of Roha, I actually took pictures of the well and how it is, how it looks now. Obviously, they built it up, but that time there was no border around it. Please have a look at it and you'll understand what the Well of Roha is. So this well of Roha. So when the Sahaba Ikram and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam stopped at the well of Roha, the Sahaba then drew water with a pail from this particular well, and the water was bitter, or it had a very bitter taste. So basically, it was unpalatable. You couldn't drink this particular water. Maybe the limestone or what something was in there, whatever it is, but they couldn't drink the water, and they had a long journey. Remember, they were going from Medina, they were going to Badr because for the battle, and they stopped at this particular well, and the water was very, very bitter. And then what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did, the Sahaba Ikram came to him and told him, "Oh Nabi of Allah, we are very thirsty. We want to drink water, but the water is very, very bitter." So what the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did, he then took his Mubarak saliva, and he actually took the Mubarak saliva and he threw it into the well, or he spat into that particular well with his Mubarak saliva. And then he told the Sahaba Ikram, draw the water now, and the water became sweet. Now, not sweet as in like honey or sugar. It means more, it became palatable. It can be drunk. It wasn't as bitter. Now, I had the opportunity of actually, making wudu, because we read Salah there. We made wudu with this particular water, and Malanchina also offers you the opportunity to actually buy a container from him, an empty container, and fill your bottles up with this water, and then you can actually have the opportunity to bring it home. But obviously, remember that with the whole red tape of not allowed more than 10 liters and 5 liters, we took the water that we had in a 20-liter bottle, and we packed it into like 1-liter bottles and small little 500 milliliter bottles, and we brought it back. We put it in our suitcases, not in a hand luggage, and we brought it back to South Africa. So a lot of you will be wondering about the taste. Well, let me explain to you that it's a taste like no other. What I'm saying is, it doesn't taste like Zamzam, it doesn't taste like ordinary water, and it's not sweet. It's just a unique and very, and I'm going to use this word, a very beautiful taste. After all, remember, why beautiful is because the beloved saliva of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam actually touched this particular water. So a beautiful, beautiful taste, absolutely divine. I can't describe it. It's very, very difficult to describe what this water actually tastes like. But if you are, or if you know somebody that is or are in the blessed lands of Makkah al-Mukarramah and Medina Munawwara, because it's closer from Medina, but if I hope they have time, because with Umrah, and especially during the Ramadan, it's very difficult. But I would have obviously spoke about it before, and they could have gone to a day trip to Badr and bring some of this water from the the well of Roha. So if you do go, please do visit this. It's a very unique taste and bring it back. I still do have it home, and I really guard it with my life because until I go again, inshallah, this water is not readily available. You actually have to actually get it to from Badr. So we were speaking about the Battle of Badr, and this happened during the month of Ramadan. The exact date is on the 17th of Ramadan, 2AH, the second year after Hijrah. That's when the Battle of Badr took place. So let's go through the story. It is on the Citizens website. You're welcome to check it out on there. Just search for Ramadan and you pick it up from there. So we know that it passed the halfway mark. It was the 17th of Ramadan when I wrote this particular story, and it's a very significant day on the calendar. It is not an auspicious day, but rather a significant day on the Islamic calendar. That is the day or the Battle of Badr. Now, the month of Ramadan, as wrote, is expected to end on the 2nd of May. We know that, obviously, that depending on the sighting of the moon, it will culminate in the day of Eid al-Fitr. Let's not go to the moon wars because that's another issue altogether. But we will obviously speak about that next week when we closer to the day of Eid, and when the moon will be sighted, it won't be sighted. So now, in the year 2AH, that's the second year after Hijrah, basically Hijrah, for those who put it simply, is the migration from Mecca to Medina. 313 Muslims, right? Led by Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, lined up against 1,000 well-equipped disbelievers of Kuffar from Mecca in the Battle of Badr. You know, I don't know how to describe it. When I was there, I I used to close my eyes for like the duration Gina was explaining, and just try and soak in the atmosphere of where you really are at that moment. I mean, it is absolutely just imagine yourself. You're there. You can see the kuffar on one side. You can see the Sahaba Ikram, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam rallying the troops, and they're about to do battle. You're standing there. So it's best, like for me, I close my eyes and I try to imagine what it was like. I mean, it's just a feeling that is indescribable, undescribable. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. So, as I said, that they lined up against only 313 Muslims, 1,000 kuffar. Now, the plains of Badr site of the battlefield is about 354 kilometers from Mecca in Saudi Arabia. So, from Medina, it's about 2 hours, about 1.5 hours. From Mecca, it's quite longer. And if you go on to the Citizen article, I've included a picture of the battle, or where the battle actually took place. You can see those pictures. Those pictures, I actually took it, so you can have a look at it. According to Islamic scholars, the clash between the Muslims and the non-Muslims had been described as the day of Yomul Furqan. Now, a lot of the ulama will speak about that, the day of Yomul Furqan. That's the day where the truth was distinguished from falsehood. And I'm going to get onto that because this is a very, very important point. So, the day of the Battle of Badr, and for those that are tuned in this evening, especially the kiddies, it's a very important term to remember. The day of Yomul Furqan, the day where truth was distinguished from falsehood. So this particular battle marked a turning point for the early Muslim community, or we know them as Ummah, from a defense stance towards of one of stability and expansion. So basically, what it means, and it means that the Muslims were no walkover. That's what the Kuffar thought. What can 313 Muslims do? We will walk over them. It wasn't the case. Now, it damaged Mecca's trade and boosted the morale of the Ummah as a viable force in pursuit of the control of the holy city. Remember, this was just the beginning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had a plan for the Muslims eventually to go to Mecca and the conquest of Mecca. Obviously, that's a discussion for another day, but very, very important. This was the beginning of the Muslims' return to the blessed lands of Mecca. Remember, they left Mecca to go to Medina to seek refuge, and then afterwards they went back to Mecca for the conquest of Mecca, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went for Hajj and performed his final Hajj before his demise. So, according to narrations, there were a number of miracles that took place during the battle. Yes, a number. There's quite a few miracles, and one of those is actually visible when you actually go there. Actually, quite a few, and I will go through them also. So, Islamic scholars narrate that when the battle was about to start, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam took some sand and threw it in the direction of the enemy, right? So, this is according to ulama. And they say, yet when he threw it by a miracle, the dust hit and penetrated the eyes and the noses and mouths of every single person of the 1,000 army of the Quraysh that left Mecca. It made them lose orientation. They became disillusioned and became perplexed and confused, right? So that's what Nabi Sallallahu, that's one of the miracles, right? And then also the Prophet Wasallam's companions or Sahaba on the day of the Battle of Badr were outnumbered, outgunned, and yet remained firm in Allah in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the conviction in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent rain on that particular day. So the reason I'm saying is that even if you believe in miracles and you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do that, but you have to have conviction in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, knowing that He will come to you. You can't just say, yeah, I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you don't have conviction. It's like you're waiting for it to happen, right? So on rain on that day, we seen the sand Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam blew and also the rain. Now, also, you need to remember, and this is a very important point, right? The Sahaba Ikram and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam were not alone in their quest for victory. They were not alone. There were only 313 against 1,000, right? But this is actually mentioned in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, and remember the time when I assured you, when Allah reassured the believers that I'm sending down 3,000 angels to help you. And that is very significant because you can actually see a part of it. And I'm coming to you now before, I explain to you exactly what's going to happen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down 3,000 angels to assist the Muslims or the Sahaba Ikram in the battle against the Kuffar, in the battle of the Badr. So what does that mean? Where does the miracle come in there? If you go to Badr and if you're standing next to Masjid Arish, right? Now, for those that don't know Masjid Arish, I'm giving you a history lesson here, but I hope if you don't soak it all in, you can always send me a WhatsApp or you can send me a comment, inshallah, and then I will also then share it with you and explain to you what I'm actually saying. So, on the plains of the Battle of Badr, when you go there, there's a masjid there, a nice little white masjid called Masjid Arish. So Masjid Arish is basically when the Sahaba were there, they actually made a little tent or a little enclosure for Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam where he could rest, where he could plan battle plans, where he could, read his salah, and the way he could negotiate with Sahaba and speak to them. So they put a little tent there, right? And where this tent, they call it a little house or a little place to rest for Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And this Masjid Arish, is actually built over the place where the Sahaba erected the tent for Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So if you're standing next to Masjid Arish or if you're standing next to the battlefield, you can actually go down onto the battlefield and you can have a look at it where the Sahaba were camped, where the Kuffar were camped, that kind of stuff. But if you look at the mountain in the background, and that's something that I still try to grapple with because you cannot believe that this actually happened. If you look at the mountain, you'll see the mountain is beige, is like sort of a black in color, a black, not black, but like a dark color. But on the side where the angels came down, the farishtas came down, that side of the mountain is smooth brown sand. You can actually see the difference. Now, I know it's very difficult to explain on on air and on video, but if you go to my Facebook page and search for that, you'll actually see that the dark side of the mountain is rough, and on the other side of the mountain is actually smooth brown sand. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, you can see the way the angels came down. So that was a miracle. Masjid Arish is there. The Battle of the Badr is there. And then I want to conclude with this also. If you can go to Badr, the Qabristan, where the Shuhada are buried as well. They got the names of the 13 Sahaba that actually passed away. They got the names of them there on a plaque, and that's the Badr Qabristan that you can actually visit as well. They're not open, it's not open, so you can't actually go inside, but you can see the names from the outside. Now, one of the things about the Battle of the Badr, it's going under development. Somebody bought the property, and somebody wanted to plant palm trees there, but nothing grew. I'll tell you why. Because Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when after the battle, he instructed the Sahaba to take the kuffar, right, and throw their bodies, the leaders of the kuffar, take their bodies and throw them into one of the wells of Badr. So if you go to Badr, you will see one of the wells is covered up, but there's an indent there. That is where the well was. And Nabi Sallallahu told the Sahaba, take the bodies of the leaders of the Quraysh and the Kuffar and throw it into this well. And he then said that as long as these kuffar are in this well, nothing will ever grow on these plains. He's talking about like date palm trees or anything will grow. If you go there, and from what Manana Gina told us, is that when somebody bought this particular land, they actually tried to grow this date palm trees, and not even, I think, a week, and everything just died. Everything just died. So that's the Badr place, because the land was infected with the Kuffar's blood, and they've been actually buried in that well. So you can actually see that indent where the wells were. So if you are there, please do go to the wells of Badr and the plains of Badr, where the what do you call it, the battle actually took place. So if you want to read that particular story, and if you want more detail, if you want to see some pictures, it is available on my Facebook page. I've got a lot of pictures of Badr there, and inshallah I can then share it with you. If you want, you can share it or send it to yourself, and you can get an idea of what the plains of Badr actually look like. Or if you've been there, you can also then drop me a comment, inshallah, and then we can share it and we can speak about it as well. Now, you are tuned in to the Iftar program. It is just gone 23 minutes to 5 o'clock. Still coming up in the program, we're going to be speaking to somebody at 5 o'clock. That's Yumna, and she's going to be speaking to us about some distribution they've been doing during the blessed month of Ramadan. At about 20 to 6 rather, we're going to be playing some nasiha from Maulana Ibrahim Bam. That's the Secretary General from the Jamiatul Ulama South Africa. He's currently in the blessed lands of Makkah al-Mukarramah, and he's performing Umrah during the blessed month of Ramadan. So that is still coming up in the show. I'm really looking forward to your comments. Before we go for our first break, let's check the times, the setting in times for Iftar. So if you are in Johannesburg, that time this evening sets in at 5:45 today. So if you are in Joburg, the Maghrib, not 5:45, I do stand corrected. Please, I do apologize for that. The iftar time in Johannesburg is 5:48 p.m. this evening. So 5:48 p.m. this evening, that's the iftar time in Johannesburg. If you are in Durban, that time sets in this evening at 5:32 p.m. So 5:32 p.m. this evening in Durban. And if you are in Cape Town, that time sets in at 6:17 p.m. this evening. So still a bit of time away before iftar sets in. And also remember that these are the last 10 days of the blessed month of Ramadan. Last night was the 21st night. Some people will have differing opinions of when the night of Laylatul Qadr is, but it could have been last night, it can be on the 23rd night, it can be on the 25th night, it can be on the 27th night, but there's some consensus, among groups of people that it's on the 27th night, but over the years, some people had said it's on the 23rd night, on the 25th night, but let's not confine ourselves, and this is something I want to say, don't confine yourself just to one night. I seen a live broadcast of Mufti Menk yesterday. He was actually doing a live Instagram sort of broadcast with the Dean team, if I'm not mistaken, or the Dean squad. And he was speaking to us about speaking to them about the last 10 nights of Ramadan. He actually recited part of Surah Al-Rahman, one of my favorite surahs, and he was speaking that for every letter of the Quran that you speak, every letter you get 10 sawab, or I think it was 10 sawab or 100 sawab. I do stand corrected. Maybe somebody can correct me there. But 10 sawab for every letter of the Quran that you read. So why would you just confine yourself to just the odd nights? And as far as the Quran is concerned, I must admit that I've been lagging behind. I'm actually quite far. I hope to catch up. But my wife and my daughter are quite far. They're sitting around, I think, 17 or 18 or even further than that, and they're going to complete the Quran. I'm actually quite far, but inshallah, I make dua that I actually catch up as well. So, how far are you with your Quran? Maybe you can send us a message. You can tweet me on at Faizel Patel 143, and you can also comment on this particular platform, which we are broadcasting from live. So, what we're going to do now is let's go for a quick break, and after the break, inshallah, we will be speaking a little bit more about the Laylatul Qadr, the night of power, the origin and some of the details surrounding it. Stay tuned to Salam Media. We will continue with the Iftar program right after this commercial break.
Cared for. A world where society came together to ensure no child was left without support. Let's build that world together. Sponsor the needs of an orphan child for 500 Rand a month. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
The kitchen, the heart of the home, where memories are made and celebrated. Our go-to place for those freshly stacked pancakes early in the morning or for that late-night snack munchies. We are in there together, cooking, eating and celebrating life together. Let's keep the kitchen a place that is shared by everyone, where we build stronger bonds and grow together. Sunfoil, now we cooking. Visit nowwecooking.co.za for recipes that everyone can help make.
For a long time, we've lived in a centralized world, where institutions held the all-important data and confirmed all transactions. Those times are over. Welcome to Libertas Group, a blockchain development company boasting an ecosystem that continually redefines the way we do business. Our blockchain is decentralized, making it immune to hacking or alteration, putting the power back in your hands with no middleman, so you can focus on the growth of your business. Libertas, the simplest investment choice you'll make.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
Automate your donations. Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, "The most beloved deed to Allah is the most regular and constant, even if it were little." Bukhari. Ashraful Aid manages ongoing relief campaigns in various regions such as Yemen, Mozambique, and South Africa. Set up a monthly debit order for your sadaqah or waqf donation and make a difference every month. You can choose to contribute towards a specific campaign or become a general monthly donor where funds will be allocated towards the most needy communities. Download our debit order form on www.ashrafulaid.org. Ashraful Aid is an international humanitarian agency based in South Africa. Through our local operations team and global partners, we assist communities affected by disaster, famine, and war in 15 countries around the world.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, donations. Call now on 042 203 1400 or visit quantu.co.za. The Quantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Southern Africa Dawah Network is a non-profit organization striving to uplift the disadvantaged and empowering through education and dawah. Donate to the SADN centers, the M.A. Motala Islamic Center, as well as our Islamic centers in Amoti, Imtalumi, Botshabelo and Castile. Donate your zakat and lillah today. Contact Farooq Sheikh 076 321 0650, Yusuf Mohammadi 072 259 3457, or the SADN head office 031 304 8000. Our account, Standard Bank, account number 050-856-294 for your zakat, or 050-879-790 for your lillah. Dawah through education, education through dawah, the Southern Africa Dawah Network.
For a long time, we've lived in a centralized world where institutions held the all-important data and confirmed all transactions. Those times are over. Welcome to Libertas Group, a blockchain development company boasting an ecosystem that continually redefines the way we do business. Our blockchain is decentralized, making it immune to hacking or alteration, putting the power back in your hands with no middleman so you can focus on the growth of your business. Libertas, the simplest investment choice you'll make.
Imagine the joy of receiving a meal for Sahur or Iftar.
Africa.
This Ramadan, join Africa Muslims Agency to provide meals to the fasting for 100 Rand a day, a food hamper for 1,500 Rand, or feed a village for 15,000 Rand per day. Imagine a reward for each act of charity in these last 10 nights of Ramadan. Donate today. Call AMA on 011-834-8685 or donate online. Africa Muslims Agency, commemorating 35 years of empowering, educating, inspiring.
At Sentio, our Invest for Good philosophy is based on a real desire to use our investment skills for the benefit of broader society. We are committed to supporting our community by investing responsibly, giving charitably, and developing talent that will transform the investment industry. As an ethically based asset manager, we are focused on delivering superior risk-adjusted returns for our clients, regardless of market conditions. Visit us at www.sentio-capital.com for more information on our Sharia investment products and start saving with us today. Sentio Capital Management. Invest for good. Sentio Capital Management is an authorized financial services provider.
There can be no greater reward than helping spread the beauty of Islam. This Ramadan, please consider the Islamic Dawah movement for zakat, lillah, sadaqah, fitra, kafara, and fidya. In 42 years, IDM has built over 80 masjids and distributed more than 125,000 Qur'ans in 7 local languages. IDM has built 36 Islamic centers and installed over 240 boreholes. IDM feeds 1,200 children daily, building strong Muslim communities in disadvantaged areas. Donate now and earn Sadaqah Jariyah. Call IDM on 031 304 6883 or visit idmsa.org. IDM, helping to create an Iqra community.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
Back to the Iftar program. My name is Faizel Patel. I was speaking about a number of things before the break, but before we do that, let's check the time for Iftar. And if you are in the Johannesburg region, that sets in this evening at 5:48 p.m. So that's 5:48 p.m. in the city of Johannesburg, or you are in the Johannesburg region. If you are in the Durban region, that time sets in at 5:32 p.m. And if you are in the Cape Town region, that sets in at 6:17 p.m. this evening. So we will repeat those times during the course of the show so that you are aware about the time that you have to actually make or when you have to break your fast. Also, the Islamic date, quickly, it is the 21st of Ramadan. This evening will be the 22nd evening. Remember, in Islam, the evening starts or the day starts in the evening. So tonight is the 22nd night. Tomorrow night is another odd night. It will be the 23rd night. That's on Sunday night. And on Monday will be the 25th night, which many people sometimes believe it may be Laylatul Qadr. And then Tuesday will be the 25th day, and then Wednesday will be the 26th, 27th night. So yeah, we just need to take cognizance of this, that the month of Ramadan is passing us by. It's just the other day that we were looking for the sighting of the moon for the beginning of the month. And now, in just about a week or so, we're going to be looking for the moon for the month, for the day of Eid al-Fitr. So, indeed, we're moving very, very fast. Still coming up in the program, remember, we're going to be speaking to Yumna a little later. It's just after 5 o'clock this afternoon. They've got some wonderful programs that they are doing with regards for Eid and also for Ramadan as well. One of the highlights for many people after Ramadan is Eid, especially for the kiddies, because they get to wear new clothes and they get to, get Eid from everybody, whether it's money or whatever it is, these days. But obviously, it's a very auspicious time. But also remember, sometimes when the moon is sighted, we tend to forget that night. So if the moon is sighted and the next day is Eid, that night is also a very auspicious night. A lot of people, getting ready for biryani, and guys getting their haircuts, and mehndis getting put on hands, and we're so engrossed in what's going to happen the next day for Eid, biscuits, and getting the breakfast and lunch and everything ready. Um, you know, that we tend to forget that that night is also very, very auspicious. It's called the night of Laylatul Ja'iza. Laylatul Ja'iza. Now, loosely translated, it means the night of prize giving. So that's what it is, the night of prize giving. So on that particular night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala awards you this prize for fasting for the month of Ramadan, for reading your Taraweeh, and you get a lot of sawab on that night as well. So please, you do have to do what you have to do. With regards to your cooking, if the ladies and the guys have to do what they have to do, but please spend some time also making ibadah. It's also should be a reminder or a very sad time, because you never know when you're going to see another Ramadan again. And the reason I'm saying that is because last year, this time, I had my mother with me, my mother, Marhuma Farida Patel. She passed away on June 16th last year. And last year, this time, she was with me. And this year, we're going through Ramadan and she's not. So next year, this time, how many of us that are here now that will not be with us next year this time? That's something we need to take into cognizance, and we need to be aware that we never know when we're going to see another Ramadan again. So before we go on to our interview that's coming up just after 5, let's speak a little bit about Laylatul Qadr. So we know that the 23rd, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, look for the night of Laylatul Qadr among the odd nights in the last 10 days of Ramadan. So it's the 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, and 29th night. So amongst the nights of Ramadan, there is this night. It's called Laylatul Qadr, that is noted for its great blessings. The Noble Quran described it as being greater in blessedness and spiritual virtue than 1,000 months. Now, you can't even quantify that, 1,000 months, right? Which in turn means that it's more valuable than 83 years and 4 months of ibadah. We sometimes today, and in today's times, people are not even living to that age, 83 years. Now imagine if you found this night, if you were engaged in ibadah and you managed to find this night. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, that the value of this night, 83 years. Fortunate indeed is that person who attains the full blessing of this night by spending the worship of Allah, because he has attained the reward of ibadah worship for 83 years. Imagine 83 years of ibadah, right? And indeed, the granting of this night for the faithful Muslim is a great favor. So let's go through some of the origins quickly. I did speak about it briefly. We'll just go through it quickly. Regarding this night, a hadith reported by Anas radiallahu anhu in the Durre Manthur, Rasulullah is reported to have said, Laylatul Qadr was granted to this ummah of mine and not to any other ummah before this. So no other nation got this particular night besides us. How fortunate are we that we got this particular night? As regards the reason of the granting of Laylatul Qadr, various views are held. According to some hadith, one reason given is thus Rasulullah used to ponder over the longer lives of people of the past ages, and in comparing them with the much shorter lives of this ummah, he became greatly saddened, because if this ummah wished to compete with the people before them, then because their shorter lives would be impossible for them to either emulate or surpass the previous ummahs in doing the righteous deeds. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His infinite mercy, granted them this night of great blessings. This means that if any fortunate person of this ummah during his lifetime spends 10 such nights in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would have gained the reward of ibadah worship for 833 years and even more. How amazing is that, right? Now, another report states that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam once related to the Sahaba the story of the very righteous man from among the Banu Israel who spent 1,000 months in jihad. On hearing this, the Sahaba enviously felt that they could not attain this same reward, whereupon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted them the night of powers. Still under the report states that it also happened that our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam once mentioned the names of the four most pious people, right? Pious people among the Banu Israel, each of whom spent 83 years in Allah's sincere service, worshipping Him and transgressing in at least, in not transgressing in at least. So they were Nabi Ayub, Zakaria, Ezekiel, and Yusha alayhi salam. The Sahaba also heard this, wondering how to emulate their achievements. Then Jibreel alayhi salam appeared and recited Surah Al-Qadr, which we recited earlier, wherein the blessings of this particular night were revealed. So a lot to read about. I'm not going to go through everything, but if you want to read about more Laylatul Qadr, there's a nice little article on the Jamiat Ulama South Africa's website. Please do go there and you can search for it in there. And I'm actually reading from there and I'm giving some details from there. The article is called Laylatul Qadr Night of Power, and it's available on Jamiat Ulama South Africa's website. If you do want to read in one more information, you can check it out there. But what I am going to do is going to give you 8 points or 8 signs, right? 8 signs which gives you an idea of when basically the 8 signs of Laylatul Qadr. What constitute, how will you know that it's Laylatul Qadr? Like I said, it could happen on any of the nights. It doesn't necessarily be on the 27th or on the 25th or any other night. It could be on any night. 21st could have been yesterday, could be tomorrow, could be on the 25th night, it could be on the 29th night. But again, don't let us just stop at one night and say, you know what, that's it, and that kind of stuff. Somebody is sending through a question quickly. Let's just read it out. Muhammad Ibrahim, Jazakallah for the question. Salam. If Saudi has started a day earlier, then their 21st, 23rd, 24th, 27th means it will be our even nights. Or how will the night of Qadr be one for all? No, Allah in His infinite mercy knows. So I'm not even qualified to answer that question. So I'm not even going to attempt it. I will find out, or maybe you can ask your resident alim. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most gracious, the most merciful. So I'm not going to answer it. I don't know the answer to it, to be honest. If Saudi started before us, or if any other country started before us, I don't know how it actually worked. But if there is an alim that can maybe join the chat, or maybe we can ask somebody, inshallah, then they can assist us. But I am not qualified to actually answer the questions. But Jazakallah to Brother Muhammad Ibrahim for sending in that question. I will try to find out, and then inshallah we can then dispense it. Or if you find out before me, or if you know somebody, or if somebody knows the answer, if there's an alim that's actually tuned in this evening that knows the answer, what happens in that particular case, then inshallah, please do share it with us so we can share it with the listeners, because I have no clue on that particular one. I do apologize to Brother Muhammad Ibrahim, but again, I don't want to say something because I'm not qualified to say it. But in South Africa, I'm speaking specifically for South Africa, whether Saudi will have, on their nights they look for it, or we'll have to do it, and what happens, can there be 2 nights? I'm not really sure on it at the moment. But anyway, let's go for the signs of Laylatul Qadr. These are the signs that you can actually look out for, right? So these are the signs of Laylatul Qadr. Number one, it will be a peaceful night, a very peaceful, very serene night. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said regarding the night of decree, it is a calm night, neither hot nor cold, and the sun arises on it red and feeble. Right. So basically, it will be cool, serene, quiet, no noise. It won't be too hot. It won't be too cold, and the sun will appear beautiful and bright. So that's what it is, right? Number two, the moon looks like a piece of plate. Now, basically, I think that's a very bad analogy. It looks like very bright and beautiful. So a plate, a white plate, it looks very, very nice. Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu reported, we were talking about Laylatul Qadr in the presence of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, he who amongst you remembers the night when the moon arose, it was like a piece of plate. So basically, to put it evenly, it will be white and bright, like a white plate. That's how it actually looks, right? But I don't know if that actually describes it, but the Minister have used it, so it should be quite accurate. Number four, there is a possibility of rain. So there is a possibility of rain. So there are narrations where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did mention that he dreamt about Laylatul Qadr, and in a dream he had prostrated, and he made sijda, and when he came up, his face was wet with rain, water, and mud. So that's another sign of Laylatul Qadr that we can take into cognizance. Number five, the sunrise for the next morning. Narrations say that it's going to be a sun with no rays, right? So that means it's very weak sun. You can look straight at it. I actually stand corrected what I said earlier. It won't be bright. The sun won't be as bright. You can actually look into the sun. So the rays won't be very bright. It will look actually, you can look directly into the sun. And that comes from Sahih Muslim. And then number six, or number five, in the last odd nights, the night in the last 10 nights on the odd nights are 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, and 29th night of Ramadan. So those are, what do you call it? Some of the signs of that particular night. And we got one more. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, for the night of Qadr, in the odd nights of the last 10 nights of Ramadan, you need to actually look for it in that last 10 nights. And yesterday was the 21st night. See, I'm actually jumping the gun. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us to actually witness, the night of Laylatul Qadr, so that we can actually, enjoy it. 83 years and 4 months of ibadat. Absolutely amazing. How fortunate we'll be if we can actually find it. Now, I know sometimes people joke says, if I find the night, then I don't have to worry about making ibadat again. No. That's not the way to go. Even after Ramadan, I would urge our listeners, like if you open up the Quran, right, do that during the month of Ramadan. Do not discard the Quran and leave it and put it away. Please do open it. I wrote a nice little piece. It's not satirical, but it's actually very, very factual in a sense that we are all guilty, including myself, of actually doing that. And I've written the story before. I actually reenacted it just to remind us of how fallible and gullible sometimes we are as human beings, that we sometimes tend to be complacent. When Ramadan just starts, the Quran comes out, the kurtas come out, everybody becomes sheikh and that kind of stuff, and you want to read in Sudaisa's voice and Moaikli's voice. I'm guilty of it as much as anybody. You know, you want to put your kurta on, and you become Faya now becomes Faisal. Faisal becomes Faya becomes Faisal. Faizi becomes Faisal. Mo becomes Muhammad. You like prom and proper, and then we need to maintain that salah, read fajr, go everything. Now when you're coming towards Eid, the kurta gets packed away, the Quran goes back onto the shelf, it gathers dust, and nobody actually opens it anymore. Faisal then becomes Faya, Muhammad becomes Mo, and then Azan for Fajr goes, and the thing is, we tend to neglect our salah. The fajr goes, you're still sleeping. There's no seri because you need to catch up your sleep for the month of Ramadan, and because in Ramadan you're getting up early for fajr. And it's very difficult because at the moment we know that it's very tiring getting up for seri, and it has an impact obviously on your day, but this is a small price to pay for the amount of sawab that we actually get. All right, what we're going to be doing now is we've spoken about the signs of Laylatul Qadr. We also spoke about some of the significance of the night and when it was origin. It's better than 83 years of ibadat, better than 1,000 months, which equates to about 83 years. But we also got a bigger program. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for a break. And after the break, inshallah, we're going to speak to Yumna. And this is with regards to the programs they do have. So please do stay tuned for that, right? And also during the break, whoever is tuned in, maybe they can share with us what happens. If Saudi started a fast earlier or later, and we later, then what happens to the odd nights in these two countries? I would say that Allah knows best. Allah knows best, and we shouldn't question that. So if somebody does have an informed or a correspondence or an answer from an alim, then please do share it with us, and we can then share it with our listeners. But let's go for the break. After the break, inshallah, we will be speaking to Yumna. Stay tuned for that.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
Give charity without delay, for it stands in the way of calamities. For child-headed households in Bloemendal in the Eastern Cape, the daily diet consists of white bread and a carton of cheap juice or sugar water, known locally as the poppy water diet. Make a difference to that one child or family. The Al-Fida Foundation has over the past 13 years worked on the ground and gathered the largest database in the Eastern Cape region of Muslim Zakah recipients. Phone our offices at 041 484 1288 or visit our website at www.alfida.co.za. The Al-Fida Foundation, your social investment partner in the Eastern Cape.
What makes Randery Jewelers the optimum place for your memorable gift? Is it our range of exclusive, high-end, luxurious jewellery? Or is it our master craftsmanship of all your bespoke jewellery needs? We believe it's because at Randery Jewelers, we know just how to make your special moments last forever. Whether it's for a wedding, anniversary, or just a simple gift to show your love, trust Randery Jewelers to make it special. www.randeryjewelers.com. Make your moments last forever with Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
There are an estimate of 153 million orphans worldwide. Change their lives by donating towards our Orphan Kind program. For 750 Rand per month, you can be the reason an orphan smiles. Go on, be Orphan Kind. Visit www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573 to find out how you can help save these children's lives. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
Southern Africa Dawah Network is a non-profit organization striving to uplift the disadvantaged and empowering through education and dawah. Donate to the SADN centers, the MA Mutala Islamic Center, as well as our Islamic centers in Amoti, Imtalumi, Botshabelo, and Castile. Donate your zakat and lillah today. Contact Farooq Sheikh 076 321 0650, Yusuf Mohammadi 072 259 3457, or the SADN head office 031 304 8000. Our account, Standard Bank, account number 050 856 294 for your zakat, or 050 879 790 for your lillah. Dawah through education, education through dawah, the Southern Africa Dawah Network.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
Welcome back to the Iftar program. My name is Faizel Patel. The time is just gone 10 minutes past 5 on this Saturday evening. Inshallah, let's go through the times for Iftar for the different regions quickly. With the winter coming in slowly, the times are coming earlier. If you are in Joburg, the time for Iftar this evening is at 5:48 p.m. 5:48 p.m. That's the time for Iftar, which sets in the Johannesburg region. If you are in Durban, that time sets in at around 5:32. So we're looking at about just around 21 minutes, I think 22 minutes from now, or 23 minutes from now rather. 22 minutes, 20. My maths are actually going wrong. We got about 21 minutes left for the Durban region. And if you are in Cape Town, that sets in at around 6:17 p.m. this evening. So, inshallah, we will go through that times shortly again after we interview in a short while. Also, I want to remind our listeners that we do also have Nasiha coming through by Maulana Ibrahim Bam. That will come up just before Iftar. So if Iftar in Joburg sets in at around 5:48, you're going to be playing that Nasiha by Maulana Ibrahim Bam at around 22 this evening. So around 22:06, we're playing that Nasiha for you. I wish Maulana Bam could have done it live, but he is in the blessed lands of Mecca, and he generously sent me the voice clip all the way from Makkah al-Mukarramah, and inshallah we will be playing that Nasiha for you. So please do engage in Nasiha. Maulana Bam gives some very, very beautiful advice. But anyway, let's go on to our interview for this afternoon, and we are speaking to a person by the name of Yumna Patel Taya. No family, we both share the same surname, and she's from Project O, and they've got some couple of good projects. I mean, I really enjoy the programs that many NGOs have. The one they're doing is the Eid program, or they call it the Eid collection drive. So basically, in the little letter they got, as the Muslim world observes the month of Ramadan and prepare for the holy day of Eid, many underprivileged families can't afford new clothing to celebrate on Eids. And Project O is also going to be hosting an Eid lunch for those who cannot spend it with their families and loved ones on the joys of Eid. And learners from the Grasmere Madrasa will be celebrating Eid with their friends on Project O Family. So a wonderful initiative. I know a few friends of mine who actually also engage in these kind of activities. My former colleague at one of the other radio stations, Apa Fahima Patel, she's got the Eid shoebox. I don't know if she still does it. Giving shoe boxes with little goodies in there. Some people also feed on Eid's Day. And the reason why this is so close to my heart and why I like to share stories about organizations that's actually doing these kind of projects, it's because when my dad passed away many, many years ago, my mom couldn't afford to buy for us Eid clothes and give us the spectacular Eids that maybe your cousins could have, or everybody else could have, or the rest of the family could have. And we used to wear our school shoes, and we used to wear our school shoes, and we used to have clothes that we used to wear on normal days, not school clothes, but normal days. And then those clothes to be tattered and torn. And the ED that we used to get from family, we used to save this up and, give it so that we can look after our mother. And that's why the success that myself and my brothers have achieved, over the years is with the du'as of the mother. But that's a topic for another day, because the du'as of any parent should be cherished like gold. But we will speak about that in the next time. But anyway, let's now chat to Yumna. If the engineer can put her on. Yumna, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's nice to chat to you this evening. We gave the listeners and the viewers a brief about this wonderful project that you are involved in. I also want to just take a shout out to Ahmad Kaji. Ahmad and myself are colleagues or work colleagues at EWN. We are both in mainstream media. He's with Newsroom Africa, and I'm with the Citizen newspaper. And when he told me about this in a week, I couldn't resist because it's so close to my heart. So tell us a little bit about Project O, and what do you guys do?
So Project O is a youth development organization. We were founded at the end of 2018, and 2019 was our first biggest project. We work with learners from disadvantaged backgrounds, so specifically with the learners in a school called Orlando High School. And we try to focus on their education to sort of open their paths after school. And so every Saturday, we give them extra classes and extra tuition. And the idea of this came about in that when myself and my peers were in matric, almost all of us went for extra classes. It's become a norm. And we have that extra push, and shukr alhamdulillah, we have the means to be able to go for extra classes, or we go to schools that are able to offer these extra classes. But learners from disadvantaged backgrounds don't have that. And in engaging with the learners, we realized that we can help so many more. So we got learners from other schools attending as well. Over and above the extra classes we do try and offer some extracurriculars with them, which the schools can't afford to offer. We do some smaller projects like pair drives, food drives, any essentials that they may need, stationery drives as well. And it's actually through our education project that we met a learner called Yahya. Yahya was at the time staying in Finetown and attended Lenasia Muslim School. And he came to us and he said he needs the extra help. And he became part of our Project O family. And once he matriculated, shukr alhamdulillah, he opened up an organization that Project O adopted. Yahya he's phenomenal. We're so proud of him. He approached us last year and he said, I'm from Krasnia, and we don't have the opportunity to celebrate Eid as my peers would celebrate when he was in LMS. And could he host an Eid lunch and would we support him? And we were so excited. We started raising funds and we hosted a very small Eid lunch last year for 75 learners. And he came. This year we were excited. We were like, okay, what can we do this year? And he said, please, could we collect clothes? And we said, yes, of course, let us try and do the best we can to collect clothes for these learners. And so Yahya is heading this and we are supporting him. Unfortunately, he can't do the interview as his connection in the township is not that great. But this is the work of our learner Yahya, and we're supporting him and so excited to be a part of this initiative.
You were saying that you cater for around 75 kids, right? That's one thing. And then it's also, is it only limited let's start off first with, is it only limited to the Grasmere area? Because that's very close to me. I live in Lenasia South, and Grasmere is probably just 2-3 kilometers, and Finetown's not far. So is it only the Grasmere Madrasa, or do you have it in other areas as well?
So this year, it's the last year it was just the learners of the Grasmere Al Mubarak Madrasa. This year, we've included their families as well. So it's around 200 people this year. And it will be hosted in Finetown. But for now, it's just the learners from Al Mubarak Madrasa in Grasmere.
Now, obviously, I mean, kids will be kids no matter, what color they are, which religion they are, whatever specifically. And, some of the kids, I mean, if you look at the non-Muslims, they want Christmas presents, and, the Hindus got their own traditions. And we got our kids, when they go from home to home, they don't worry about greeting anybody. They want Eid. What's special? What's something special that you have for the learners, especially on the day of Eid?
You know, so Alhamdulillah, we've raised enough money to host an Eid lunch for them. Usually, they wouldn't have that opportunity at all to have anything special. It would be a normal working day for the families where they'd go out. So, shukar Alhamdulillah, this year we're going to have a Eid lunch, catered Eid lunch in a little hall with a tea treats afterwards as well. And inshallah, this year we'll be able to give them clothing that they're able to wear on Eid day. We're still collecting. We haven't reached our target yet. So inshallah, we will be collecting up until Friday, the latest. And we also have little goodies like chocolates, sweets, and treats that we intend to spoil them with and create a memorable day for them that they can look on fondly.
Have you got many donors? Is there a lot of people that contribute towards this particular project?
Shukr, for the Eid lunch, we put a poster out, and within a day, we reached our target for the Eid lunch to be able to cater it and provide some treats for them as well. Shukr, people have come to us. A family said they're going to do the whole tea lunch. For the abayas in Kurta Drive, we have assistance from schools like Apex, Sunridge Play School, the Muslim Students Association at UJ and WITS are collecting for us as well. So we are slowly reaching our target, but we still have quite a bit to collect. So if anyone out there has some gently used abayas and kurtas that maybe don't fit their children or themselves anymore, please, you're welcome to donate it.
All right, that would bring me to this question then, and we're going to conclude on this. Obviously, you need a lot more. You need to reach your target. It doesn't necessarily have to be what you want. They could give anything that will make this children's lives more joyous, especially on this day of Eid. If they got something to contribute towards the project, this Eid project of yours, how can they get hold of you and where can they drop it off, or what are the logistics of it?
So, as you mentioned, if you have clothing as well, that's not abayas or kurtas, we're also accepting that. The learners may use it any day of the year as well, and the appas will distribute it as needed. You're welcome to contact us on WhatsApp at 083 500 8018. That's 083 500 8018. You can contact us on Instagram at projecto_org, or you can email us on projecto.org@gmail.com. We have drop-off points in Lenasia, Mayfair, Houghton, Killarney. If you contact us and you're not close to any of those places, we can try and make an arrangement with our volunteers that stay elsewhere. There's also drop-off points at the schools I mentioned, Apex, Sunridge Play School in Ridgeway, and GTS in Ridgeway as well. And then you can drop it off at MSA at WITS, the Jamaat Khana, or the UJ Jamaat Khanas as well.
You were saying drop-off points in Lenasia. Is there specific areas besides the school?
There is the drop-off points. If you'd like to know the exact locations, you can send me a WhatsApp and then I will send you an address.
All right. And then just, Yumna, your final thoughts and comments. I mean, something you want to share with our listeners that will enthuse them to actually, assist you with this wonderful, wonderful project. I think, we all fasting, we all equal, we all fasting. Every kid wants to be a kid. Everybody wants to have a wonderful Eid. What is your words of motivation, encouragement to entice the people to actually donate towards this particular project?
I think that as we heading closer to Eid, our moms, ourselves, we have a whole lot of Eid plans. We're planning to go out shopping. As we add clothes to our closet, let us take out something and think about those in need who don't have that opportunity to even plan as we do. To think about those who don't get to celebrate the day as we do, because there are so many Muslims out there that we forget in South Africa that there are Muslims of other races and from different financial backgrounds that can't afford a luxurious event or a luxurious day as we're used to. So, like I said, please, as you go out and purchase items to add to your closet, don't forget to take something out, something that you may not wear anymore or you just have forgotten about. It is there and you can donate it to someone who may it may make their day, make their week if you just give them that something that may not mean much to you, may mean the world to someone else.
Okay. Just that number that where they can get all of you again.
083 500 8018.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll repeat that number again towards the end of the program. But Yumna, on behalf of Salam Media, Jazakallah so much for affording us your time. And we make dua and we wish you all the best for the program. And we hope that you get a plethora of donations after this interview, inshallah.
Jazakallah so much for having us and giving us the opportunity to share our initiative with many other people. And I'd like to ask everyone at the Iftar table to please keep Project O in your duas, keep our sponsors in your duas, and everyone who's able to make our project a success as well. Please keep them in your duas.
Jazakallah Yumna, and inshallah we will speak to you again.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. All right, dear listeners, that was Yumna Patel. She is, heading or spearheading this wonderful project, and she's the CEO of and founder of CEO of Project O. And they got this particular project. You heard her speak at length about it. They want to make Eid more joyous for these kids. And I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm a sucker for kids. I love kids, and why wouldn't anybody want to see a kid or a child smile on the day of Eid's Day? And you have the potential to actually make this difference. So I just want to go through the press release quickly that Yumna had sent me. Actually, Ahmad Kaji, a friend of mine, as I mentioned earlier, actually sent me this press release. And I was going to read it to you so you can understand the beauty of what Project O is actually doing. So, the press release reads, as the Muslim world observes the month of Ramadan and prepares for the holy day of Eid al-Fitr, many underprivileged families can't even afford new clothing to celebrate Eid. And yet we decide whether we want a Converse. We don't worry, about anything. We just want to ensure that we got the best of the best, and it doesn't matter if we are Converse, as long as a child can have new clothes. I think it's very important. And then they're going to say Project O has launched a Ramadan collection drive and is calling on residents of South Africa, every community. I think we should all get involved in the blessing of this month by donating abayas, kurtas. I mean, there's surely every home in South Africa, ladies, I'm sure you guys got one abaya that you just haven't worn for years and years and years, and it's just lying there gathering dust. Please take it out and donate it. Guys, I know you guys got kurtas. I got a few. I'm going to get it out and give it to them. And get it out and give it to them, and it can be used for somebody, right? As part of the initiative, these abayas and kurtas will be donated to the learners from the Ikhlas Madrasa in the south of Joburg. It's very close to Malaysia South, where I stay, Fine Town, in one of the poorest townships in Gauteng. They really go through a tough time. They don't have electricity at times, and it's very, very difficult for them. So Project O is also hosting an Eid lunch for this. You heard Yumna speak. It's going to be in a hall this time. And those who cannot spend with their families and loved ones on the joys of Eid, learners from the classroom Madrasa sitting eat with the Project O family. And they got in a hall and they got some chocolates and sweets and that kind of stuff. I mean, absolutely wonderful, isn't it? Warms your heart. It's actually very emotional when you think about that children don't have these beautiful Eids that we may have at home. And they're going to say that it's times like this when we need to reflect on the pleasures we have in life, and we hope people will be able to donate and make another person's life better, even if it's just for a day. This is what Yumna is echoing, right? And I want to give you that number. She did give me the number, so I'm going to repeat it. If you did miss it, this is Yumna's number. It's 083, that's 083 500 8018, right? 083, that's 083 500 8018. That's Yumna Patel's number. She is the founder and CEO of Project O. And it is another person on the contact of the press release. I'm sure you can get hold of her as well. Her name is Asma Laher, and she's in the East Rand Tutoring Manager. So that's Asma Laher, and she can be reached on 083 509 2709. So, friends, please, I urge you, dig deep into your pockets. If you don't have a bias, do yourself a favor. Go to Darun Nashar, go to one of these Egyptian shops and just buy maybe one kurta. How much is it going to cost you? 100, 200 bucks, 300 rand. It's a small price to pay for to see a smile on a child's face. Ladies, abayas, when you're buying your expensive abayas, do yourself, just buy a little abaya for somebody, a little child. Wouldn't it cost you 100 rand? And even a topi could make a difference. But please, let us try to do as much as we can. I mean, these people, I mean, the smile on a child is just absolutely priceless. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be going for a quick break. After the break, we will continue. But before we go for the break, I just want to share the time quickly. The time for Iftar in Durban will set in about a minute's time. So it's now 5:31. In about a minute, the people in Durban can then break their fast. It's 5:31. In Joburg, the time for Iftar sets in at 5:48. And in Cape Town, the time for Iftar sets in at 6:17. So I know the Durban people just got a few seconds left before they do break their fast, but we're going to be going for a break. Can I just check my watch? I know my engineer is going to get cross with me, but there's about 15 seconds left before the time for Iftar sets in, and after that we'll go for a break. So let's just wait for the time. The clock is ticking down for the time for Iftar in Durban, and it's gone 5:32 now. So 5:32, the time for Iftar in Durban is set in. If you are close to Masjid, please maybe wait a few seconds because our time could not be synchronized. If you are breaking your fast, read your dua for breaking fast. Allahumma laksumtu wa bika amantu wa la rizkika aftartu fataqabbal minni. And you can break your fast. Remember, it's a very auspicious time also. Please remember the ummah in your duas. Let's go for a break. After the break, inshallah, we will continue with the Iftar program. Stay tuned to Salam Media.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
The global wheat market is in turmoil and prices have risen rapidly. This places the most vulnerable Syrians at greater risk of hunger and food insecurity. Sponsor a ton of flour at just 7,500 rand and help ensure displaced Syrian families get their daily bread. Donate flour for Syria online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil, triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying, or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
Zakah has the power to end extreme poverty. If the whole world gave zakah, it could end extreme poverty many times over. Islamic Relief has been distributing zakah for over 38 years. Our zakah policy complies with strict Sharia guidelines. It's endorsed by qualified scholars, and it only goes to eligible rights holders. So, harness the power of your zakah with Islamic Relief.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nani. Now I'm using tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like Tib Black Seed. You can find Tib Black Seed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the Iftar program on Salam Media. It is just gone 5:35 and we've got about 13 minutes left before the time for Iftar sets in here in the Johannesburg region. For those that are in Durban, I'm sure you are enjoying your sumptuous meal now. The time set in Durban at 5:32. So inshallah, please do remember yours in the Ummah in the dua as well. So Joburg, we've got about 13 minutes left. Remember that Nasiha that's coming up with Maulana Ibrahim Bam. We're going to be playing for you that at around 5:40. That's about 5 minutes time. So I suggest you tune in. I've listened to the Nasiha. It's absolutely beautiful Nasiha that Maulana Ibrahim Bam has shared with me, and I want to share it with you specifically. Maulana Bam is not currently in South Africa. He is in the blessed lands of Makkah al-Mukarramah. He's spending Ramadan day and he's currently performing Umrah, but he was absolutely generous enough to share it Nasiha with me. So that's coming up at 5:40. So those are the times that I shared with you. In Joburg, 5:48 this evening. In Durban, the time is already set in. And in Cape Town, this evening, 6:17 p.m. Inshallah, that's when the time of Iftar actually sets in. Now, there's something I want to share with you. For those that know and are aware that I do work for the Citizen newspaper, and the Citizen is actually based in Industria. Now, for those that don't know where Industria is, it's very close to Bosmont. Those areas, so Westbury, Bosmont, Hursthill, Roodepoort, those areas are very, very close there. And I normally read my Jummah Salah at the Bosmont Masjid. Now, I've spoken about it before. They an absolutely wonderful, wonderful community. Very warm and welcoming. I made a lot of friends there as well. And the first Jummah I read, they made me feel like they knew me forever. And this week I went, and I was something that I'm not aware of, and I'm sure most of you might be aware of it, but I didn't know that that this happens. So when I was sitting there, and we had these people that were going on to the mic, and they were reading this zikr. For me, it sounded like zikr. And a friend of mine who talks to me every week when I'm there, very, very wonderful individual, Faizel Sali. If anybody knows him, please pass on and I mention him. I used to go there, and they had their Ramadan fete now recently. And he gave me a T-shirt. He's a wonderful individual. The Ramadan fete raised some very, very much needed funds for the masjid. And Faisal Sali was explaining to me this beautiful, Nasiha, not Nasiha, but the Zikr they were reading. Now, they've got a very special name for it. I don't know if it's a special name, but they call it Muniyat, if I pronounce it correctly, Muniyat or Muniyat. So I actually put it up on my Facebook post, some beautiful Muniyat. It's beautiful and sweet Muniyat being recited before Jummah, Adhan, and Bosman Masjid. My friend Faisal Sali explains that this is also recited before the Isha and Taraweeh. Have a blessed and wonderful prayer Jummah. So I actually put it, and you can listen to that Muniyat. I hope I pronounced it correctly. But this Faisal was telling me that it's something like zikr, the praising of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And, we need to be so much thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because He has granted us infinite wisdom. in ensuring that we do the best. And I want to share something with you before we go to the Nasiha of Mulana Ibrahim Bam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been so merciful to us that Mulana Sulaiman Mullah in one of his lectures mentions that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had to punish us in conjunction or in proportion to the amount of sin that we commit every day in this world, He'll destroy this world 50 times or more a day. So let us think about that. That's how merciful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. That if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had to punish us in proportion to the amount of sin that we commit in one day, He will destroy this world 50 times in one day, if not more. And remember that we're not guaranteed Jannat. It is only with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we will enter Jannat. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with His mercy, we will able to enter Jannat. So please let us remember this. Let us remember the Umayna du'as. It is 5:40, just on the head. I'm going to ask my engineer to play that Nasiha for us. The time for Iftar in Joburg sets in at 5:48. The Nasiha by Mulana Bam is about 4.5 minutes. So Brother Sadiq, if you are tuned in, please do play that Nasiha for us by Mulana Ibrahim Bam.
Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Respected listeners, there are many dimensions to Ramadan. We are all aware that Ramadan is a month in which we turn towards Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a month of spirituality. 11 months of the year we give priority to our material needs. At least in this month, let us give priority to our spiritual needs. Spiritual needs are fulfilled not by material things but by spirituality. Things like reading Quran, tilawat, zikr of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fasting, etc. But together with that, there are many dimensions our beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made mention of. He said, Huwa shahru sabr. It is a month of discipline, a month of patience. And one very briefly I would like to make mention of is that he said, Huwa shahrul muwasat. It is a month of sympathy and care and compassion for others. And of course, we know that care and compassion for others is part and parcel of our deen. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has laid so much emphasis upon caring and being compassionate to other people, helping others. One day our beloved Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, I can see a person enjoying himself in the gardens of Jannah because of a thorn which was a means of inconvenience to others, and he removed that thorn from the road, and because of that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him Jannatul Firdaus. Subhanallah. That is the reward for caring and being compassionate and coming to the aid and assistance of people. But the question still remains, why specifically did our beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said it is a month of caring and compassion? And when caring and compassion is always part of our deen, ulama have written that one of the reasons is that when we are eating 3 square meals a day, it is very difficult for us at times to become caring and compassionate to others. When you are eating 3 square meals a day, you tend to forget the hardships, the difficulty, the poverty, the hunger that the poor are facing. And when you are fasting and you bear in some way the pangs of hunger of others, you bear the pangs of hunger, then you come to realize the feeling of people who are hungry. You are going through the pangs of hunger, or to some degree, some aspect of staying away from food and drink, and there is a certain degree of inconvenience with regard to that. You are doing it because of a religious requirement. Alhamdulillah, there are many who would like to fulfill that religious requirement. However, together with that, just bear in mind there are other people who are also doing it because of circumstances does not allow them. They did not have enough to be able to feed themselves and feed their family. When you are going through some of the difficulties while fasting, then bear in mind the plight of the poor, because there is many great virtues associated with the poor. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Allahumma ahini miskina wa amitni miskina wa ashurni fi zumratil masakin. Oh Allah, resurrect me on the day of Qiyamah with the poor people. Yet, we do not have care and compassion for the poor. When we are going through some of the pangs of hunger while we are fasting. Then we realized that we also need to show compassion to those people who are going through the difficulty because of circumstances. Reminds me, very difficult to be caring and compassionate to people when they are having 3 square meals a day with regard to the French Revolution. When people were protesting because of the harsh situation and the oppression and the injustice, when people came and told the monarchy that people are protesting, and said, why are they protesting? Say they are protesting because they do not have bread to eat. And the reply was, if they do not have bread, let them eat cake. That is what happens when we have 3 square meals a day. Ramzan gives us an opportunity to relook at our caring and compassion for others. May our Ramadan be such a Ramadan. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.
So there you have it, dear listeners. The beautiful, beautiful Nasiha there from Maulana Ibrahim Bam. And he is currently in the blessed lands of Makkatul Mukarramah. And I have asked him to make dua for the entire Ummah, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept his efforts and accept his Umrah and accept, his generosity for giving us and sharing this Nasiha with us. It is just gone 5:45. We've got about 3 minutes left before the time for iftar in Joburg sets in. Durban is already chowing lekker there. So, we've got about 3 minutes left in Joburg. In Cape Town, still a while to go. The time for Maghrib sets in at around 6:17 p.m. This evening. Just gone 2 minutes left now. I think maybe let's take this opportunity before the time sets in to actually just ask the listeners and the viewers. We had such a wonderful program today. Was speaking to Yumna Patel and also Mulana Bams Nasia, sharing some insights about the night of Laylatul Qadr, the signs you can look out for, inshallah. You can also, we also shared about what this night means. And, it's an absolutely beautiful night. Tonight, after Maghrib, and the Adhan goes down for Maghrib, it will be the 22nd night. Tomorrow will be the 22nd day, and then tomorrow evening will be the 23rd night. That's Sunday night will be the 23rd night, Monday night will be the 24th night, and Tuesday night will be the 25th night. Wednesday night, 26th night, and then also on Thursday night will be the 27th night of Ramadan, when a lot of people, or general consensus rather, that that is the night of Laylatul Qadr. But with a minute left and a few seconds left, let us lift our hands and make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for those people that are going through difficulty, whether it's financial difficulty, whether it's economic difficulty, whether they're trying to conceive, whether they are, got no place to stay or they got no children. It's very, very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts all du'as. Let us make dua for the people that are ill, very, very importantly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them complete shifa, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them. All the marhumin that have passed away, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them all the higher stages of Jannatul Firdaus. Also make infinite ibadat and dua to and salawat to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wasallam. Infinite salawat to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to the Sahaba Ikram, and everybody make dua for them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also grant them infinite stages of Jannah as well. So it is just gone 5:48. We'll wait for the Adhan. I'm very close to the masjid here in Malaysia South. So as soon as the siren goes, inshallah, then we will then also break our fast. Just also remember that the odd nights are coming. Also stay tuned to Salam Media for the pet shows, the iftar programs, wonderful, wonderful programs that do come in on Salam Media. Ashraf Garda hosting during the day. In the background, I can hear the siren of Masjid Uthman Ghani here in Lenasia South. The time for iftar is set in, dear brothers and listeners. Let us break our fast. I have my kajur in my right hand. And let's read our dua before fasting. Allahumma laka sumtu wa bika amantu wa la rizqika aftartu fataqabbal minni. And we take that bite. Inshallah, I will join you again next week. Please do take care of yourself. Remember the Ummah in your duas, and to my engineer, Jazakallah so much for a wonderful program. Inshallah, we will catch up with you next week. Please do take care of yourselves and each other. Fi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.